Hey everybody, welcome to Worldbuilding with DMDave. This is the 30th episode, so 1 month worth of episodes now under our belts. Well, it's March the 31, but you get the point. Last time in our series, we started developing our world of La Breca. It's a brand new campaign world. Set in a world that I've just been coming up with on the fly, pretty much based around the Dice and Mega Delve. So if you've been watching the series, remember I started basically with just one map. And I've got one group that's playing on Wednesdays that already is going through it, and they're playing sort of magic users who are on kind of the wrong side of this big revolt that's going on through the land. And then the Saturday group is actually going to be on the, I guess, the right side, so to speak. And they're going to be working with a criminal organization called Manticore, which their patron is a woman named Annika Scheibel, who pretty much rules the town. So I want to have her give them their first quest, their first level party. And we're going to do this pretty much the same way that we always do. We're going to start off by rolling randomly to see what we come with, and then getting creative from there. So I'm going to open up my Dungeon Master's Guide to Chapter 3. Yeah. And we're going to come up with some random stuff. I want to do an event-based adventure this time. An event-based adventure works a little bit differently than a location-based adventure in that you first come up with who your villain is before you come up with the where they are and what you do. So on page 75 of the Dungeon Master's Guide, let's go ahead and start with the villain. I'm gonna actually, it tells me to go to chapter 4, so let's do that. Let's see here, chapter 4. It's gonna be our villain. Let's see, villain. We don't know anything about the adventure other than that, and we're going to get our dice roller out and start coming up with some ideas for it. Let's see. First we'll come up with who the villain actually is itself, and we can do that actually first in chapter 3, so sorry to get you bouncing back and forth. I'm old and I forget stuff. Alright, so we're going to do a d20 to figure out who the adventure's villain is. We got a 4. A dragon bent on domination and plunder. Okay, so we're starting with the dragon at level 1. Dragon bent on domination and plunder. Okay. So that could be the overarching villain. Maybe we can have a side effect of that villain. The party might not even know who it is yet. So a big thing you want to do with villains is you always want to make sure that the villains are felt before they are seen. It's pretty rare that a villain's going to come out and just do things, but usually in a campaign, especially one that's going to go for a long time, you want the villain to have kind of like a they make their presence known, whether or not even the heroes know exactly who it is they're dealing with. So let's see what our villain is doing. What is its scheme? We'll roll a d8. That gets us immortality. Okay, interesting. And let's roll a d4. Steal a planar creature's essence. Okay. So scheme is immortality, and they want to steal a planar creature's essence. Okay, and our villain's methods, we're going to roll another d20 for that. We get 6, which is defamation. Interesting. Okay. And then we get a 1. Okay. And that is framing. Okay. So they are going to defamation, and they're framing someone. Okay. So now we know a little bit about our dragon. So it's going to be a clever dragon. Let's go ahead and make it a chromatic dragon. I think that's probably the easiest way to go. And let's get one that's more fitting for deception. I think lawful or ancient greens tend to be in that realm, so we can look at some different ones here. Reds tend to be chaotic and kind of bullies. Ancient blue is lawful evil. Yeah, I'm feeling like it's going to be lawful evil. They've got decent deception. Black's chaotic. So blue or green? Green has high deception though. Okay, cool. So we're gonna make a green dragon our villain. And let's make it pretty much a major villain. And this dragon is looking for immortality. Okay, and wants to steal a planar creature's essence. Now, if you remember, we had created a randomly drew a planar gate here, which is the Sturblik gate. I think we called it the Mortal gate. So this kind of works in with that, okay? And if we did green, green's perfect because green dragons tend to live in forests, I believe. Yeah, they love forests. So we've got the Tron involved. Let's get a good name for our green dragon. Alright, green dragon name generator. I don't know if there's one. Oh, you know what? There is one for World of Warcraft, so that works. Okay. Let's get something that's kind of. Yeah, we'll just go with this first one. Kenosis. Cyanosis. How about Ravarius? I can pronounce that. Don't get a name that's hard to pronounce because it'll end up being a boring. But Ravarius sounds pretty cool. So Ravarius is our green dragon. We know its methods, and we know that it wants to steal a planar creature's essence. We'll dive a little bit more into Ravarius, but with a threat this big, obviously we can't put him up against the heroes just yet, but we can definitely start the framing process, and we kind of have to work our way back with that when you're dealing with an event-based. Okay, so we've got the villain. We know a little bit about what Ravarius is looking to do. Ravarius wants immortality. Something is keeping Ravarius from achieving that immortality, probably related to Red Vanguard, who is currently moving through Labreca and banning magic items. So to get what he wants, Ravarius is going to defame someone and frame them. Okay, so next on page 75, we need to determine the villain's actions. So let's go ahead and use our dice roller again for that. Let's go ahead with D6. 4 is a 1 and done. Okay, so 1 and done. Villain commits a single crime and then tries to avoid the consequences. Instead of an ongoing plan to commit more crimes, the villain goes to lie low or flee the scene. Sounds like a green dragon. Let's look a little bit more into green dragon's stats. I know we said we were gonna figure this out, but I kind of like the idea of the name Ravarius being kicked around, but the heroes, or in this case, they're kind of anti-heroes, never really knowing who Ravarius is. Let's see, they're very intelligent, 18, so an adult green dragon has super high intelligence. In fact, they might be, let's see, are they smarter than blues? They are the smartest of the dragons. Okay, that's really interesting. Plus 11 deception, crazy high. So these guys are going to be total masterminds. Manipulative schemers, conflict and corruption. Favorite treasures are sentient creatures it bends to its well. This is great. Okay, cool. Never really focused on a green dragon, but I think this is going to be a lot of fun. And they're capricious hunters. But we're going to deal with an ancient green dragon, a Sierra 22 monster that probably will be way down the line. But until then, we're going to be dealing with it. Okay, so 1 and done. We're going to determine the party's goals next. So we've got a 1 and done crime for Ravarius. 1 and this is what it's going to do to meet its ends. Do a D20. 18, locate. Okay, so the party has to locate a stolen item. Okay. Alright. And alright. I identify important NPCs. So let's go back, and we know our other important. We know our patrons, so I'm going to just keep that as Annika Scheibel, the former Duchess. And let's get an ally in here. D20. It's going to be humanoid. No, that's supposed to roll D12. I was like, wait, this sounds familiar. A Fey ally. Okay, cool. So we got a forest. There's a Fey ally here. Ally. Fey ally. We know our patron. Alright, what's next? Anticipate the villain's reactions. So let's think this out real quick. And this is more or less the process of how you do event-based. It's a bit more complicated because it can be pretty tough. So there's a stolen item that they've framed somebody for doing it. So Ravarius maybe got one of his minions to steal something. There's somehow a Fae involved. Who would be a good person to have frame? Maybe Annika's son. That would be pretty cool. Or we could come up with a totally different person who might be based in. So I might need to think about this one a little bit, but I think we have the elements of a really cool start to an adventure here. Definitely event-based. I'm seeing a lot more role-playing going on in this versus strict combat. I know I want there to be a magic item in there somewhere, so maybe somebody gets framed for having a magic or having stolen a magic item. Maybe there's like the magic item turns up within town, in the town of Schloss Scheibel. Annika needs the hero, or it ends up planted on someone. The Red Vanguard shows up, somebody gets arrested, and the heroes have to prove it wasn't them. So really we have to figure out the reason why Ravarius would want to do this in order to further his plot bent on domination and plunder, why he wants to get the immortality, steal a planar creature's essence. So I think what I'm going to do in between the scenes here is find a magic item that would be good for stealing a planar creature's essence, and that will be kind of like our hook there. I think that would be pretty cool. Alright, anyways, I hope you enjoyed this episode. I know it's a kind of a planning episode, but this is kind of how it works. And next time we're going to start working with the other stuff, which is anticipating Ravarius's reactions. We're going to detail some key locations, and we're going to choose an intro and a climax, and then plan some encounters. So anyways, thanks again. Like and subscribe, and I will see you next time as we put together the World of Labreca. Peace.